to the Spotlight, where we feed you what's trending, break down the headlines, and talk about why it matters. I'm Zainab Oyeni.
I'm Shegun Joyce. Glad to be here once again.
Always good to be here. Always good to see you guys. This is the Spotlight. Going to the first story on the Spotlight. First story of today, Joe Kent, the United States Director of the National Counterterrorism Center, has resigned in protest over the ongoing war with Iran. In his resignation letter, Kent stated clearly he cannot in good conscience support the war, insisting that Iran posed no imminent threat to the United States. He further alleged that the conflict was driven by external pressure, particularly from Israel and its allies, rather than verified intelligence. Kent's exit marks the first major break within the administration over the war and raises serious questions about the justification for U.S. military action. Responding in a video and public remark, President Donald Trump dismissed Kent's claims, calling him weak on security and saying his resignation is a good thing. Trump insisted that the decision to go to war was based on strong intelligence, maintaining that Iran posed a real and imminent threat and that the military action was necessary to protect American interests.
He was a nice guy, but I always thought he was weak on security, very weak on security.
Donald Trump was asked about the resignation in the Oval Office.
He seemed like a pretty nice guy. But when I read his statement, I realized that it's a good thing that he's out.
Trump and his top aides have cited a number.
You know, we see Trump already firing back at Joe and saying that it was, after all, weak on security and it's a good thing that he's resigning. That's a typical Trump thing to do.
Of course.
But he's not answering the actual question. And the actual thing in that statement that there was no imminent, threat. So if the NCTC, somebody from the NCTC is saying that there was no threat since, so why are we seeing war? Why was there need to go to war? Is it really just some, biases?
Because if you look at the Kent statement, he emphasized that the Israel was never a threat to the U.S.
To the U.S.
The war shouldn't even have started if not for the pressure from Israel.
Yes.
And that's a good point, because if the director of the agency in charge of detecting and analyzing threats, imminent threats in the U.S. is now coming out to say Iran has never been a threat to the U.S.
Yes.
So I don't see any reason for U.S. to have started the war.
Yes.
If not for the according to him, from the prayer from Israel.
Yes.
They shouldn't have even started, because now the allies of the U.S. that Trump are even saying they should send their army, it's now seeking help from. They said you didn't consult us before going ahead with the war. Now you need our assistance. You're now calling us for help. And they declined. They said no, we are not going to help you.
And the war is not even going too far. And adding to the fact that it is not only Kent that is saying something like this. Democrats are also saying that, Kent has a point.
Of course,
that there was no need to strike at that particular point.
There was never a need, because U.S. was trying to stop. They said, nuclear deal. That was where it all started. But Iran already maintained they don't have anything like this. They were already on the table putting out putting out terms to agree on something. But Trump was saying something different, which Iran had denied several times. So I don't see any reason for them to have started the war, if not for the pressure, if not for supporting Israel. So they shouldn't have even started.
But what was Israel's concern about for the U.S. to now say, okay, they want to, support them?
I think
if Joe is also claiming that we need to also look at, okay, why would Trump had done something like that, why would he want to support Israel?
I think it's doing it because Israel is an ally to US. They have only been having a good relationship for years. Yeah. So he's now doing it in support of Israel. Because Kent emphasized it, there was never a threat to the US. It was
to the US directly,
to the Israel.
Yeah.
Yes, it was not to the US. It was to Israel. Whatever Trump has been doing now is in support of Israel. So he's not seeking the other countries' support, but they are not. Dancing to his tune.
Exactly.
So, which is now making him furious and angry and all of them, calling them names. But they are now saying, no, we're not going to send ship, because I think he didn't even expect the war would go too far like this. It will affect the oil.
But he ought to have known, because Iran too would not take it easy on them. You can't attack Iran and then hope that they would be quiet.
Because I think he expected like it's going to overshadow them. The Iran, two countries coming together, definitely they will be suppressed. But I think he's now surprised to have seen a lot of something that has been done. And imagine the oil crisis now. So if the oil is affected, it's going to affect the US.
Yes.
So, and it's affecting every.
And a lot of people that other countries that are affected by oil will start clamoring and saying.
We're now seeking help from even those people that you didn't consult earlier. We're now seeking help for them, but they are rejecting. They are not saying, no, we're not going to do anything. We're not going to fight Iran because of your...
I think it's now that he needs that prayer. That prayer that those people was praying for him. It is now that he needs it. We just hope that... why am I even hoping for that? This is the first of many... Should I say many? But this is the first resignation we are seeing. There might be more, of course, because I think there's a lot now going on.
Many Americans, if you ask them, they were never in support of it.
They were never in support.
They were never in support.
All right, fine. So we go to the next story on the spotlight today, and that is in sport. Title in a shocking post-final decision. The West African giant, who defeated Morocco national football team 1-0 in the 2025 AFCON final, have now lost that victory off the pitch. The Confederation of African Football CAF ruled that Senegal forfeited the match after players temporarily walked off in protest of a late penalty decision. CAF overturned the result, awarding a 3-0 win to Morocco, effectively handing them the title. Senegal's Football Federation has strongly rejected the ruling, describing it as unfair and unprecedented. Officials insist the team returned to complete the match and that play continued under the referee's authority. The case is now headed to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, where Senegal hopes to overturn the decision and reclaim the trophy. This dispute sets up a major legal battle that could reshape how match protests and disciplinary rulings are handled in African football. African football, not football generally.
Because
this is wrong. This is very wrong. I don't think this would be happening in other places.
It's not wrong.
Okay.
But it has not happened in a countryside before. It has always happened in club history. Because in 2006, it happened to Juventus, whereby they were stripped of the title, the Serie A title, because they were involved in match-fixing scandal, and they were relegated to the second division. So the title was later awarded to Inter Milan, which was second in the position, and the one in the previous year was not awarded to anything.
Okay.
It's something similar is also going on in the Premier League, whereby the Man City is also facing a lot of charges. I think about over 100 charges for them involved in financial breaches. So if they find them guilty at the end of the investigation, they will be stripped of the title, because the breaches started from 2009 to 2018. So if it also happens they were guilty, they will be stripped of the titles they won in those years. But coming to the countryside, I think AFCON, they relate it to their rules. And the rules state that if you walk from the field or you stop playing, so you'll be regarded as eliminated or loser. So that's what it comes to
play here.
To play here, because they stop from playing the match. It's not for money that called them back to let's come back to the field. Let's continue. But the AFCON, they need CAF needs to look at the actions. What triggered the action from Senegal?
Yes.
Though the action from Senegalese player was too excessive, they shouldn't have. I think they were not aware of the verdict like this. Something like this will come up. This is the reward of you walking up from the pitch. So I think they didn't know. They didn't know such of thing will happen. But if something like this happened, CAF needs to look at their rules. So because what prompted the action, what prompted the from leaving the pitch was the poor officiating was responsible for it.
Yes.
The similar thing almost occurred during Nigerian and Morocco match. It was obvious to the blind during the tournament. Morocco players were favored because Morocco was the hosting nation. I think many of the officiating favored them than the
and that's another point that I feel like we should look into. They should look into. They hosting AFCON. So it gives them more.
The poor officiating in the match was responsible for Senegalese players who walked away. But the same penalty that he awarded was almost similar to what Senegal got earlier, which was not given to them. So they were furious, they were hungry. Something like this were probably they could not control their emotions. So it led to them walking away. But I think CAF needs to look more of officiating. This is an embarrassment to our football in Africa. Something like this happening. Always controversy. It's always in Africa that you see fans throwing something at referee because of poor officiating, poor arrangements.
Yes.
You can't just throw those things. It's really occurred in England and across and in Europe. So it's really happened. You always see them throwing something at the referee. But in Africa, I think poor officiating is always common. So this is what they should look at.
Officiating is something that they should look into.
The rules, fine. It's okay. But now it's going against Senegal. So the rule, I think it's fine, but the poor officiating needs to be looked at.
Yes, and now Senegal is proceeding to court.
So yes,
we hope that they get justice, something to even. It looks like they are just being something is being taken away from you. It looks like you're just
because majority of the fans are saying now, oh, we know the winner. The winner.
Of course, we know our winner. The people that performed on the pitch are the people who won.
But the poor officiating was just responsible for all of this.
Yes.
If the officiating was not, if the referee was not biased and the officiating was well arranged and everything was in order, I don't think we'll be experiencing something like this in Africa football.
It is so sad to see. We'll go on a quick break now. When we return, we'll take you to the world of entertainment and other social issues. Do stay tuned. Still watching the spotlight. The veteran filmmaker Wale Adenuga has fired back at claims by actor Papa Ajasco, suggesting he is broke. Adenuga dismissed the statement, insisting it is false and misleading. He revealed that the actor owns a house and has used at least 5 different cars, countering the narrative of financial struggle. The producer of the iconic TV series Papa Ajasco and Company said the public should not be swayed by what it described as exaggerated claims. The exchange has sparked reactions online, with many questioning the true state of affairs and others calling for respect between industry veterans. Shegun, we said a lot.
It's a lot. Remember, we discussed the issue last week.
Of course, we did.
The Papa Ajasco will now saying something like, and Wale Adenuga, it's a very good thing for him to have responded. So it's fine. We are all awaiting his statement, his response to all the allegations. So, but I think what you should look into is the fact that he said he was given the opportunity to do an advert and work all of that things. It was even a Lagos State government worker.
Yes, it was a civil servant.
Yes, a civil servant, because he mentioned he stated it clearly. Even if we are going to call him for another, they have to seek permission from the office. So definitely, it's not even into acting alone. So he has something different he was doing. Yes. So how did he
and he just recently resigned.
Yes, just recently resigned. Yes. So the question now is, how did he spend the money?
How did he spend
How did he spend it?
It is... I don't like chopping my words, but like now, even me, I'm now learning because that whatever you don't hear from one side.
Yes.
It might be true that he's broke, fine, even if it's not, but the fact that he painted the whole situation like it's not being treated well. Yes. The name was trademarked truly because they don't want, they don't want that Papa Ajasco name to be stained. Yeah. You could go for other productions and they're calling Papa Ajasco there, and Papa Ajasco is an armed robber in that movie, so that name is already being stained. So now I understand more why the name was trademarked, and the fact that he was allowed to do other jobs. That is the part that felt very
fair. Because he said
very
even
tricky.
Other actors there, James or
but Papa Ajasco didn't paint it as such in that video. Yes. He wanted people. I think he wanted sympathy and that kind of thing. Yes. So it's not good when you come outside and portray and say that.
Because I don't think I've seen other actors acting in the same role coming out to say, oh.
Yes, exactly.
I think it's probably the first person.
And think of the last time we mentioned that directors and producers should also do their own homework and not be lazy.
Of course.
Call these people for other things, not what you have seen them do. So if Papa Ajasco was called for other jobs, maybe this would not be, maybe it was truly called for only Papa Ajasco.
About 5 cars.
5 cars, including the men. So what happened to all those cars?
All those cars and
yes, is it that maybe he also mismanaged these things? Because recently it is becoming a thing, a usual thing.
Maybe we should also refer to as allegation. Maybe probably Papa Ajasco will also come out and debunk it as well.
And said he never had 5 cars.
5 cars.
Oh, maybe. But if he truly lived a good life at some point, it has happened. There was recently, who is this one? This gospel artist. Remind me. This gospel artist that came out that is under Biowa Films.
Who was that? There's
a gospel artist that came out recently and said she's now broke now and she doesn't have anything.
Okay, Stella.
No, it's not Stella. That's LA. She came out, and it has been happening a lot of times that people will come out and say they don't. I know these are people that when they were trending or when they were in the industry, their names were out there. They had money. It's not like they never had at all. So if you had at some point, are there not things that you put in place for whenever you are old, or probably when music is not doing, or when acting is not doing something
that is something that in the meantime you have to just. That's where management comes. You have to manage your resources. Because if you don't manage
and plan for the future.
Yeah, and plan for the future. That's just it. Because if you don't manage well, tomorrow you'll just be complaining, you'll be lamenting. So I think that's what is happening.
Lamentation is something that we should.
Because how will you be in such position where even like Adenuga even said it that when Tinubu was the governor of Lagos State, it was part of the drama group.
Yes.
So I know Ashwaju will have rewarded him for doing that. So
do.
Of course.
Okay.
It's his job, and during the state play, they pay them.
Okay.
Yes, they'll be paid for.
He must have been rewarded handsomely. I think so.
Yes.
So moving forward, I think what we'll be hoping to also hear
from him,
what Papa Ajasco will also say that no, I don't have cars, no, I don't have a house in Ogun State, or this da.
So
let's hope to hear response from that. Moving on to the next story now. The Benin Traditional Council in the Benin Kingdom are considering disciplinary action following an unauthorized visit by popular content creator Peller to the Royal Palace. Reports indicate that the visit was carried out without proper clearance, sparking outrage within the palace hierarchy and raising concerns over protocol breaches. As a result, the Queen of Benin and some palace officials are now facing possible removal or sanctions for allegedly allowing the visit to happen. Palace insiders say the development is being treated as a serious violation of tradition and security procedures given the cultural and historical importance of the Benin monarchy. The leadership of the kingdom is set to be reviewing the situation, with a decision expected after consultation with senior chiefs.
Jesus, she give me a free. How Queen of Benin give Queen a Wale. I'm fine, man.
Okay, please. Put it down. All cameras.
I think Peller even has been going on, controversial things has always been going on around him. But there are a lot of questions to be answered on his case now. Why was he allowed into the palace if it was not granted? In the first place, it was not. If there was no approval as claimed, as said, if there was no approval, so why was he allowed into the palace?
Yes.
So, and the queen involved. So I think the palace is now saying, oh, probably the queen might be punished. So I don't think Peller should have been allowed into the palace if an approval was not given. And for him to have done all of that, so for them to have now come out to say, oh, is it even a big shame on the palace?
Oh, so you think that Peller was given approval, but now they are trying to revoke it and say that it was never given?
Probably, because what are you now trying to say? Are you not even an enemy of the palace could easily walk into the palace?
And then some officials will just open the door.
Of course, if you are now claiming to say, oh, the person that entered the palace was not given an approval. So it definitely shows even a terrorist can even enter into the palace and carry out an attack. So I think there needs to be a proper check on his entrance into the palace, just like.
But thinking about it from another angle, I don't think that he must have properly informed them, because if he gets there and if he didn't inform them, and they know that Peller is a streamer, the officials know him, and then the queen too.
But I'm sure they would, no matter, and I don't think no matter who you are, if you have been trying to enter into the palace, you'll be asked. You'll be asked for the approval. Because the Oba of Benin is not just an ordinary monarch. So it's a first-class monarch who you can't just enter the palace anyhow.
So even his management would have done their due diligence, and if they haven't, that's shame
on them. So
they must have done their due diligence.
A lot of questions need to be answered.
Do you think that the aftermath or what happened during the tour, during the live, is why they are trying to revoke it? Because I've seen videos from even before this the traditional council mentioned even before the traditional council said they are going to sanction people. I've seen people come out to say that, oh, the palace is not a place for a joke. Which one is this one Peller is doing? So maybe things like this is what made the traditional council say, maybe we shouldn't have announced this. Let's just say because we never allowed it.
It came and the next day they thought you didn't say anything, and now even after a week,
it went there since like March 6 or 9.
So you're not coming to say, I think there's a lot behind that.
Or could it be a problem between the king and the queen? Because if the queen has has welcomed you, she gifted you her frames, her pictures. So why can't she even speak to the king, or is the king different from the traditional council? The king is over the
represent the king.
The queen can represent the king, so I don't know why the traditional council are saying something when the queen was there to welcome him.
If the queen is going to represent the king, there will always be an approval from the king. Oh, you can go ahead to represent me. It's an approval. So you can't just represent him.
But we're not talking about that kind of representation. We're talking about, she could have said you are welcome in his name, even though that's what we're saying.
That's what I'm saying, that they need to get an approval from the king. So if there was not an approval, she can't say anything behind the king without his approval. So
in Peller's subsequent videos, he has said he's going to quit this store. Problem has been coming left and right, and he will go to his Yoruba states. I'm thinking, is it really a case of tribe?
I don't think so.
Is it really a tribal thing? It's not. And he recently faced a lawsuit from a lady that lady is from Edo State. Do you think there might be a correlation?
What?
Do you think maybe?
I'm not sure about that.
You're not sure about that? Let's keep it at that. We're not sure. Okay, moving to the next video. On to the next topic on the spotlight today. A disturbing video circulating online has raised serious concerns about child safety and exploitation in our communities after a man who was caught on camera attempting to lure a young child hawker with 1,000 naira. The video, which has gone viral, shows the man offering money to the child under suspicious circumstances, prompting fears of potential child trafficking or abuse. This incident serves as a stark reminder of the ongoing risk faced by children in public spaces and the importance of community vigilance in preventing abuse. This is the most disturbing video that I think I would see. Yes, maybe because I'm seeing how, you know, the stages before it happens. Yeah. I'm seeing how these people pray, how these people, you know, want to feast on their prey. Do you get?
Yeah.
How these people, it is so annoying. I don't know what to call this. So you are speaking to a girl because that guy watched him, you know, talking to the girl for quite a number of minutes, and before he went to interfere. So if the girl had followed you, who knows what would have happened? Is he going to abduct her? Is he going to sexually harass or abuse her? Is he going to I don't know what he wants to do exactly, but it is bad intention.
The intention, well, I think is already known. Because he's trying to like lure the girl and probably to have something to rape her. And imagine a minor. So the situation like this has been occurring in society, but I think the case should be taken over by the police. So probably eventually, if it's guilty, they will charge him to court.
Yes.
So the court would now would
we should not wait until things like this happen first.
Several cases of things like this, we've seen the result in court, whereby if it's found guilty of rape or anything, they'll be charged. I think the punishment is life imprisonment. But in this case, I think it's a sexual attempt.
Yeah.
It's still an attempt because he's trying to lure the girl. So if probably at the end
people who attempt should be given the same punishment as people, because if they are successful, if they have their way, they'll do it.
Kudos to the little girl also, because she was
smart.
Yes, she was smart, and she analyzed everything that happened.
Yes. Yeah, and she was one who mentioned it. And kudos to the guy, because he's a very vigilant person. One would have just driven past and felt like he wanted to buy something or whatever.
Imagine a man of over 50 all will be doing it with a girl
of that age. And then we see some news and saying that, it's because you are dressed one kind of way. It's because you are... this girl did not dress one type of way. This girl doesn't have anything to attract such a man.
In such cases, something like this could be attracted to maybe ritual. Some use it.
Yes, for ritual as well.
So they use it for
it could also be that part. Some sell them off, for the people that want to use them for ritual. A lot of other
many things.
So it speaks on child hawking as well. I know that we live in Nigeria, a lot of places we live in poverty, and there are no, and sometimes we use our children to also sell more. I understand that part, but I don't know how we can do it. Just limit it, or whenever they are going to hawk, probably it should be the two of you going together.
A man of this character should not be in public space, because if eventually something like this happen again, it might even be involved.
Yes, now because they caught him now does not mean he will not try it again. He might even try it 5 minutes after that time. That that one didn't work.
That's what I'm saying.
This one might work.
Investigated properly, and probably later they will charge him to court.
Yes.
So the court know the time.
Yeah, exactly. So the child hawking situation as well. I think it should be reduced to an extent, and let these children still be children and speak to them more. Yes. I think it shows that probably this child must have been spoken to well enough.
And
she knows that Yes, to know that no, you don't follow a man what the man was trying, because she looks like somebody who is very well understood. So while bringing up, don't shy away from some conversations with your children. Speak to them a lot. Tell them the areas that are no-go area, and people where if they taught you here, this place is safe. If they taught you here, this place is not safe. And we hope that things, things become better. And speak to your husbands, your brothers, your sons. They are the ones committing this crime. The men who rape don't fall from heaven. They are people's relatives. They are people's families. So when we see situations like this, we shouldn't. I would never vouch for any man that he would never do this. I will ask questions. I will speak to them to know that this would never. He didn't do it truly. And we'll just really look into it, because we see a lot of women supporting or trying to cover their husbands or their children up.
This shouldn't be covered up.
It shouldn't be something that would be covered up. It shouldn't be something that would be covered up. So we thank God for the quick interception of that person, and that
probably
nothing
bad happened. Subsequent investigation.
So on that note, we have come to the end of the show today. Join the conversation by leaving your comment if you have different opinion or additions to all that has been said on the show today, and we'll make sure to spotlight your view on the show tomorrow. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at Africa News 24 TV to stay informed and ahead. I'm Zainab Oyeni.
I'm Shagunjo.
Let's meet tomorrow.